when we last were with these people that I cannot seem to get to succeed at life, I threw the full boxes of burning hammer at the guy with the cane, which really put Tama in a hard situation. So we're gonna go back to being Achi, and we're gonna go back to where we made a decision, which I think is this one. Persistent pursuit. Yeah, and we're not gonna throw the boxes of bottles at him. And let's see what happens. Probably the same thing. I just don't know how we're gonna drive a forklift into him. They go so slow. Hop into the forklift, drive it at the assassin. He has a gun. This ends now. Achi leapt into the forklift and hit the ignition. The engine roared to life. He lowered the fork. He knows how to drive a pitchfork. I think you have to be certified for that. Also, this is also very loud. He lowered the forks and stepped on the accelerator, picking up the pallet of cardboard boxes as he charged toward the man with the cane. The tower of boxes struck the man with a thud. Achi kept accelerating, driving him back a good 10 meters or so. The gunman let out a low grunt at the impact. Achi hit the brake, shifted back into reverse, hit the gas again, backing up as fast as he could. The boxes crashed down in a heap, burying the assassin underneath. Several small bottles spilled from the broken cardboard and shattered on the pavement. Some of those were burning hammer. Hey, what are you doing? A middle-aged man in a sanitation uniform had come running at the sound of the forklift. Sorry, man, gotta run, Achi exclaimed as he jumped from the vehicle. And don't forget to recycle that glass. He took it to his hand and sprinted away down the alleyway. The sanitation worker glowered after him, then turned and gazed despondently at the jumbled pile of boxes and broken glass, with a hand with a gun sticking out of it. Do we not care about that? We don't care about that. Okay. With the miracle stone still clutched in my hand, I hurry to the loading dock. Fingers crossed. I brace myself before actually stepping out the door. It's not there! But why not is it not there? Was it all on the forklift? Where is it? I look and I look, but I see no sign whatsoever of any burning hammer. In a panic, I call the recycling guy. Well, I definitely returned it to the loading dock. I can assure you of that. If you're telling me it's not there, unfortunately, that isn't my responsibility. He hangs up. It didn't even sound like he cared. I look around a little more, but to no avail. Yeah, it's definitely not here. Did someone else take it, maybe? As I hang my head in dismay, a middle-aged man in a sanitation uniform passes by, hauling a big garbage bag. He flashes me a curious look. That's the guy, right? What do we do, Tama? Mr. Yanagashita freaks out when he hears the burning hammer's missing. Please, you gotta give me something. I'm not really sure, sir. Now my boss is an even bigger wreck than he was before. This job is toast. Any money I was gonna get paid is going up in smoke. Just like all my hopes and dreams at this point. I guess maybe we could try selling the anagachis or something? It's not much of a suggestion, but it's all I've got. Mr. Yanagashita looks at me intently. Wait, what did you just say? Huh? What did you just say? Or something? No, before that. I guess maybe we could try selling the anagachis? I can almost see the wheels turning in his head as a smile slowly creeps back onto his face. That's it. That's it. That's it. I'm certain I see an actual gleam in his eyes. Right then, I guess That's our only real option. No, wait, this is a sign. That burning hammer didn't just vanish by coincidence. Oh no. He jolts to his feet, his eyes still positively aglow. All right, see you later, Onagachis. We're about to knock you right out of the park. Yay. I probably don't need to tell you how the event goes down. Oh, sorry. We don't manage to sell even a single Onagachi. Turns out, people are really creeped out by eels, and our customers have no problem letting us know that, very impolitely I might add, as they storm away in a huff. But Chiri said she liked eel salt broiled and in sushi. I hear Mr. Yanagashita mutter to himself as I get ready to leave. If only we hadn't lost the burning hammer, things would have gone so much differently. Or, no, maybe they'd gone pretty much the same. You know, I probably should have listened to my gut earlier. Agreeing to take on this job has brought me nothing but trouble. What do you mean? Go all the way back? We can't not agree to this job. Bad ending. Okay, so 2 bad endings there. How do we avoid that, though? No one's gonna have any luck selling digital pets to customers who are looking for a health food demo. I did think that when they said, you know, they came for the burning hammer. But why did the burning hammer disappear? Well, that sanitation worker Tomasaw had found another pile of trash to dispose of. Sometime close to 12:40, someone winds up breaking the bottles. Yeah, Achi. But who is that someone? What can they do differently? Nothing, because we threw the bottles at him, which broke them, and then we did that, which broke them. So I actually don't know what we can do differently. There was a person in a cat costume. Okay, so this is where we jumped to Tama. So we'll keep going here. Yes, there was a person in a cat costume. I thought since I couldn't see their face, it'd be easier to ask them stuff. Fine, whatever. Now get back out there and get me some more. Norikawa steered Chiaki toward the passing crowd. What, now? Yes, now. We've got no time to waste. Even the kindergartners are pointing at her. I'll even stand by and watch for a minute. Now enough with the excuses and get out there. Norikawa looked on as Chiaki wandered through the crowd. Her anxious demeanor seemed to repel everyone around her. On the rare chance she did manage to flag someone down, the way she stammered through her initial questions made them take right off again. After a minute or two, she shuffled her way back, shoulders slumped. See, it's hopeless. Okay, some advice. First off, you aren't approaching the right people. Some people are clearly in a rush, you know? You're not going to have much luck trying to flag down a businessman who's visibly in a hurry. Now, folks who are waiting on someone, couples, groups, they're going to be less on their guard. But I mean, if I do manage to nab someone, how do I keep the conversation going? Chiaki asked. That was indeed the tricky part. Whenever I get an answer I'm not expecting, I get all flustered. Chiaki, have you ever played tennis? Tennis? Yeah, it was in my school. I was in my school's tennis club. She struck Norikawa as being more the manga type club. But that was neither here nor there. Okay, that'll make this simpler. What's more fun, rallying with an opponent or hitting the ball off a wall? Rallying with someone, of course. Norikawa gave a hearty nod. And why is that? Because when you hit the ball off a wall, you already know where it's going to come back to. Revelation dawned on Chiaki's face. Oh. It's the same with interviews. Don't get flustered. Enjoy the rally. But I don't think I'm composed enough to enjoy it. Don't overthink things. Just let yourself enjoy the small talk. Small talk? I'm sure I'm not good at any of that. She was starting to waffle again. Okay, let me ask you this, Norikawa said, taking a step closer. Are you happy with your life right now? I'm not happy with my life right now, no. She hung her head in dismay. Okay, so start with that. Huh? Chiaki blinked a few times as she lifted her head back up. I'm not happy with my life right now, but what about you? Like that. Oh, okay. A sliver of liveliness had crept back in Chiaki's voice. Norikawa jabbed his finger right in her face. Right there, he said. Put on that face when you flag people down. Chiaki's smile widened. I'll give it a shot. Thank you so much. Sure thing, good luck. Okay, we got the street interviews done. Chiaki strode enthusiastically into the crowd and tried to flag down a Westerner who was walking hurriedly past. Did she even listen to a word I said? Minorikawa felt his short-lived triumph melt away. Am I just gonna have to teach her everything again from scratch? Then he paused in surprise. Hold on. Okay, good. She's grabbing him. Great. Whoa. Chiaki had snatched the man by the arm in an attempt to get him to stop. To Minorikawa's amazement, the gambit worked. Well, he's a nice guy. He's the teacher guy. Before long, it looked like the two were engaged in some kind of animated conversation. Maybe she would get an interview out of this after all. The look on her face was actually somewhat confident. Sometimes people could surprise you once you got past their surface issues. Now Minorikawa could head to the Burning Hammer sales demo with a little more peace of mind. Well, speaking of which, what time is it? In a panic, Minorikawa checked his wristwatch. I'm gonna check this in case. Think about this wristwatch. That will tell you how you think about the opposite sex and whatnot. Think about this wristwatch. It glows in the dark, I think. It looks like it has glow in the dark strips on it. And it's automatic limited edition. So that's how I think about the opposite sex, is being glow in the dark. Automatic limited edition. The demo is set to start in less than 5 minutes. Uh-oh, he really was cutting it close. You can do it, Minorikawa! He sprinted through the intersection, heading for Center Guy. I have faith in you. You can make it. Plus, they don't have Burning Hammer there anyway, so... You're not going to be missing much. You're to be continued. You're to be continued. You're a bad ending, which I don't even know how to stop that from happening. You're a keep out. The only thing we can do is this. So we got her back to her to be continued. There's got to be a jump point, because you can get to a keep out through a jump point, but I don't know. Okay. I have cheated. I have looked it up. Let's do the right thing. I just don't know how far we have to go back for Osawa. What do you mean he goes outside? When did we get the option to go outside? I don't remember that. Okay. Okay. Go lay low. No, that's Tama. Father? Her father! Not his father. Oh my gosh, that would have been nice to have in the AI overview. Okay, her father, that's how you jump. That was blocked before. Now we can jump and do this. Amazing. Here, take a look at this. Huh? Osawa could never have anticipated what he saw on the LCD screen. It was an email from Hitomi. Stifling an exclamation, he scanned the contents of the message. There's a man following me. He has a gun and I think he's trying to kill me. I'm safe for the moment, so try not to worry. The kidnapper warned me, told me not to contact my family or the police. Please keep this email a secret. But didn't Hitomi give the kidnapper the ransom? Osawa said. What can anyone want with her now? Tanaka shook his head, uncertain. He wouldn't know any better than I would, I suppose. Do the police know about this? And if so, why haven't they said anything? He felt himself start to tremble as he searched for answers in Tanaka's silent gaze. Do you think this could be related to that other thing? I doubt it. If it were, why would they go after Hitomi? I suppose you're right, but Osawa was shaking outright now. Tanaka laid a hand on his shoulder. First, just calm down and let's think about what we know about the kidnapper. His composure helped Osawa keep himself under control. They've taken Maria, the vice director continued quietly, along with a ransom of 50 million yen, and now they're after Hitomi. His gaze sharpened. Sir, do you think this could be someone who holds a personal grudge against you? A grudge? Osawa considered. He couldn't think of anyone who would have a reason to attack him. He'd been too caught up in the virus research since his time in school to have formed any hostile rivalries. He didn't have any enemies that he knew of. Maybe someone's jealous that I became head of a laboratory? He had held his position for years at this point. Why would that spur someone into kidnapping his daughter now? Has anything happened recently? Tanaka asked. Anything strange since you got back from overseas? Since I got back? Osawa's heart skipped a beat, then started pumping faster. The first thing that came to mind was the solicitation he'd gotten from the American laboratory. If he accepted the offer, it would put Okoshi Pharmaceutical in quite a bind, possibly enough to warrant someone holding a grudge over it. But the only other person who knew about the potential transfer right now was his wife. No, Osawa said. Nothing. Not that I can think of. He couldn't bring himself to discuss the transfer with Tanaka. He felt a surge of guilt for contemplating leaving his trusted assistant behind. If he did make a move to America, he planned to recommend that Tanaka replace him as department director. Still, he didn't expect that to make up for his abandonment. All right, I'll see what information I can find then, Tanaka said. The kidnapper had forbidden any contact with either family or the police. But Tanaka was outside of that circle, and he knew how to handle himself with discretion. I almost said distinction. I'm sorry to have to put this on you, Osawa said, and thank you. For now, let's see if we can get Hitomi to exchange some more emails. An uncomfortable thought suddenly occurred to Osawa. He blurted it without thinking, why do you have my daughter's contact information in your phone? Tanaka gave a worried look. Sir, I promise I can explain once all this is over. And with that, he stepped out of the bathroom. Something in the tone of his final words left Osawa to wonder. Could it be that Tanaka and Hitomi were dating? He hoped dearly for that not to be the case. Their age difference alone made the idea a disturbing one, let alone so many other considerations. He's 40 years old and she's 19. Trying to put aside his paranoia, Osawa resumed his struggle with the clog in the toilet. Oh goodness! Kajiwara reappeared, still toting the bucket. You seem to be having a lot of trouble there, sir. He made it sound like the whole mess was Osawa's fault. Of course I am! I've never had to do this before. Really, I think the research you would do would be a lot more difficult than this. Fixing toilets gives me far more trouble, I'd say. So it would seem. Kajiwara stood watching as if Osawa's efforts made an interesting show. I don't know the first thing about viruses, sir, but I don't find unclogging toilets to be that difficult. Oh yeah? Then how about you fix it? Kajiwara really was a world-class pro at making people mad. Are you sure you don't mind? Be my guest. Osawa shoved the plunger into Kajiwara's hand. And he's gonna leave. Leaving the detective to handle the toilet, Osawa marched back to his study. I need to get him outside, apparently. He turned on the CD player and laid back on the sofa, squeezing his eyes shut. He was seriously on edge. Kajiwara had totally broken his stride. What now? The door of the study slid slowly open. It's Detective Kajiwara, sir. Please don't come in here without asking. My apologies, Mr. Osawa. I just want to inform you that the toilet has been fixed. Right, fine. Osawa hardly cared. He just wanted this guy to give him a little peace. Oh my, is that really all you have to say, sir? Nary a compliment or encouraging word? Maybe good job, Kajiwara, or you're getting a promotion, detective? This guy's weird. I don't think I like him either. Osawa blew out his breath in exasperation. How are you a detective? I'm not sure I get your meaning, sir. You are completely clueless. I'd like to ask your superiors to replace you with a detective who knows how to take his job seriously. Mr. Osawa, with all due respect, it's unusual for a precinct detective like me to be stationed here at a victim's home. What's your point? Not to brag, sir, but I happen to be an exceptional detective. Kajiwara beamed with pride. In fact, I made an excellent showing in the Superstar Detective contest we had on our police social media service. Okay. For a moment, Osawa thought the bolt of incredulous anger that shot through him was the onset of a stroke. How could a single person be so utterly infuriating? And you can't tell anyone about this, Kajiwara went on obliviously, but this summer a new detective manga is starting up based on me. Osawa spat out a peal of feigned laughter. A manga? I can tell you all about the plot, sir. Would you like to hear about it? I would not. It's about a telecommuting detective who solves major crimes using just his wits and his computer. Surely you'd like to hear about that, sir. I really wouldn't. I know I may not look it, but I'm pretty handy with computers. Kajiwara's eyes drifted over to Osawa's desktop. His hand darted to the mouse. In a matter of moments, he cleared the screensaver and booted up a web browser. Hey, don't touch that! But he was too late to stop the detective. The monitor showed a page for AyaNet, a fan page devoted to Aya Kamiki. Osawa's imminent rage stroke was beginning to make his vision grow fuzzy. You come to this site regularly, sir? Regularly? Well, I'm not sure Osawa trailed off, feeling the heat of a blush flare on his cheeks. There's a lot of stuff on this site. Is there a section you primarily spend time on? Well, I mean, for my part, I really only go to the fan forums for folks 40 and over. Aha! With a twinkle of curiosity in his eyes, Kajiwara peered at the computer screen. Having his privacy invaded to this degree was the ultimate disgrace. All right, you're an amazing detective, Kajiwara. Just incredible. I see you in a new light now. Now, would you please get up and leave me alone? He got up to leave the study. We need to get out of this house. Sir, hold on. There's something I wanted to give you. Kajiwara reached into his pocket. I don't need a banana! Get out of here with your bananas. Osawa fled the room. He needed to be alone, if only for a few moments. But even if he could somehow shake Kajiwara, the other detectives had eyes all over his house. He reached the limits of his patience. He couldn't even think straight anymore. He headed for the back door, trying to avoid the police. Opening the door quietly, he slipped across the yard and cut through the back fence. He didn't want to venture too far from the house. He found a tiny alley and took cover there, thankful for a few moments to himself at last. He hadn't been there long when he caught sight of a man and a young girl, a father and his daughter, running past on the main road. It looked as if they were running from something. The man flashed to look back over his shoulder, then took his daughter by the hand and pulled her off the road. They crouched behind some bushes, hiding. As he looked around wild-eyed, he spotted Osawa watching him from the alleyway. Help! The man called out, help me! Please! If these guys catch me! Oh, the father's eyes went wide as he got a look at Osawa's face. You're... Huh? Osawa thought he recognized this fugitive too, though he couldn't remember from where. There are some real nasty guys after us, the man said. I know I have no right to ask you this, but please, at least help me keep my daughter safe. Probably you should go to the police. No, they won't be able to help me with this. Please, I'm begging you, help me. I'm sorry, but... Please, if not me, then at least help my daughter, the man pleaded. Osawa looked down at the girl. Unlike her father, she was calm and reserved. She reminded him of Maria, just a little. Osawa couldn't stand. He decided to help them evade their pursuers. All right, follow me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Are we taking them to our home? Oh. That's disturbing visually. He led the two back to his house and into the storage shed out back. You can lay low in here for a while if you like. The shed was fairly large. There was plenty of space for the man and his daughter. I'm so sorry, the man said. I'm not sure how I could possibly thank you. Don't worry. Osawa closed the shed door and headed back out to take a look around. Two thuggish-looking men came running up to him. No doubt these were the people the father and daughter were running from. You there, said the one in sunglasses. You see a guy and his daughter, aren't they? Well, I guess that guy's sunglasses are on his head. You see a guy and his daughter around here? There's a jump to Minorikawa, but we don't need to jump to him right now. Right? They should have come by this way. There was a hint of menace in his voice. A man and his daughter? Yeah, I think I saw them run through here. Which way did they go? That way. Sweet, we almost got him. The pair sped away. Osawa waited till they were fully out of sight, then called out to the shed. All right, they're gone. The door stayed closed, however. I'm really sorry, the man called back from inside. Those guys might come back for this way. Is it okay if we hide out here a little while longer? He sounded desperate. Pitiful, really. Sure, go ahead. With that, he headed back inside. Evidently, he just wasn't going to get any time alone today, no matter where he went. Well, they can stay in the shed all night. What does he care? They can live in the shed. Hello, Kajiwara. You're still here? Yes, sir. I was told to keep my eyes on you after all. Believe me, it shows. Mr. Osawa, if you're going to go outside, I'd appreciate it if you let me know first. What? Had Kajiwara realized he'd snuck out of the house? But more importantly, Kajiwara reached back into his suit pocket. I've been meaning to give this to you. He held out a small plastic bag. Inside was a scrap of paper of some sort. Looks like a ticket or something. What's that? Osawa asked. This is what was clogging the toilet, sir. With some hesitation, Osawa took hold of the bag. Huh? That's... The passenger name here is listed as Kenji Osawa. In the plastic bag was a plane ticket. Specifically, the one for his upcoming flight to the U.S. the following week. He left it out on his desk. How had it wound up getting flushed down the toilet? It looks like it's pretty important, sir, Kajiwara said. I must say, it was pretty careless of you to accidentally flush it. A wry sort of smile came to his face. Although, the detective added, I suppose the question of who flushed it is another matter entirely. Osawa was at a loss for words. Someone had tried to flush his plane ticket on purpose. He was sure of it. Bum, bum, bum. He knocked on the door to Ai's room, but there was no response. It didn't look like she'd gotten back home yet. Osawa let himself in. Oh! It's a mess! The stinging scent of her perfume pervaded the room, which was decorated in all white. Clothes were strewn all about as if to put her slovenliness on display. She'd been like this ever since they'd gotten married. Osawa had long since stopped caring. Must have been Ai who tried to flush the ticket. He knew she didn't want him going to America, but still, couldn't she have found a better way to get rid of it? Thanks to her, he'd been stuck hunched over the toilet fighting with the plunger. Osawa sat down on the bed amidst the brand name clothing. Then he spotted something odd down by his feet. It was a gold cigarette lighter. Just when had I picked up smoking? Osawa picked up the lighter and set it on the shelf next to the bed. It has an M on it. For Minorikawa? He smokes like a chimney. He started out of the room, but stopped as he noticed a scrapbook on the bookshelf. The rest of the shelf was filled with fashion magazines, so the scrapbook definitely drew his eye. Curious, he took it down and opened it. The book was filled with articles and write-ups about the results of Osawa's research and the company's various achievements. Flipping through the pages took him on a trip down memory lane. There was even an old company memo welcoming Tanaka on board as the new vice director. There was a photo of Osawa shaking Tanaka's hand at the party, celebrating his new position. It was a little peculiar to think that she had bothered to keep something so trivial. A series of magazine articles was nestled between the pages further into the book. These hadn't been clipped out for inclusion in the scrapbook itself. Osawa glanced through them. Floundering Okoshi Pharmaceutical arranges marriage of political convenience. It was a self-indulgent piece from some rag called 4-Star General Gossip. Minorikawa, again, linked. Are they together? From right after he and I had gotten married. When the piece had first run, he'd been too furious to read it. Now he gave a quick looking over. It was pretty much exactly what he'd expected. It talked about how one of the corporate directors had sacrificed his own daughter in order to keep one of his researchers on board. Referring to, of course, Makino offering Osawa Ai's hand in marriage. Rumors abound of marital strife between the newlyweds. The article went on to talk about how I had been dating another man before she and Osawa got married. Minorikawa? The whole thing was a bunch of rubbish. Any marriage involved some kind of calculated self-interest after all. Whatever the reason for their union, nothing changed the fact that I was now his wife. With a faint sigh, Osawa put the scrapbook back on the shelf. But they fought. Maybe they fought at the cafe because they were exes. Feeling disconsolate, he returned to his study and began flipping through his CD rack. His eyes scanned for Aya Kamiki's album, For Tomorrow, Forevermore. A lot of her more experimental numbers were on that album. Given how discombobulated he felt right now, this was what he needed to hear. Again, Osawa reflected on how there had been a time when he didn't care about music at all. He'd simply purchased copies of the most popular CD of the moment as a birthday gift for his 2 girls. And that had just happened to be an album by Aya Kamiki. Hitomi was thrilled by the gift, but Maria hadn't seemed terribly fond of it. The next day, she tossed her copy back on her father's desk. Figuring that throwing it away would be a waste, Osawa had stuck the CD in his computer to give it a listen. He was immediately bombarded by an intense beat, bolstered by a bold, uplifting vocals. Aya Kamiki wrote her own lyrics, which did a fine job of conveying the emotions of a teenage girl. Osawa could hardly believe it. After listening to just one track, he was well and truly hooked. Before the day was out, he had purchased her entire discography. Huh? For Tomorrow should have been in the CD rack, but there was no sign of it. Where the heck is it? Why isn't it here? Is it in the toilet, maybe? For a moment, he wondered if he was going crazy. Then he remembered it was at the lab. He wanted something to listen to on break at work, so he'd brought the album there. Oh no, not being able to listen to it made him want to hear it all the more. Wasn't like he could just go out and buy another copy either. He'd have to borrow the copy he'd given to Hitomi all those years ago. Unable to contain his need to hear the music, he went into Hitomi's room. There, he quickly rummaged through the CD rack beside his daughter's bed. Part of him felt he was being a little sneak thief. According to the email Tanaka had shown him, someone was trying to kill Hitomi. Under the circumstances, he knew what he was doing was ridiculous. And yet he still couldn't resist the impulse to find the CD. But his efforts were to no avail. There were no Aya Kamiki CDs in the rack at all. Osawa pulled out every CD on the rack, but they were still all classical music. He slumped back in disappointment. It had to be somewhere in her room. Go through her stuff. Go through her stuff. Osawa jumped at the sound of his cell and fumbled to get it out of his pocket. Makino's name was displayed on the LCD screen. I'm out front. That was all Makino said before hanging up. Hurriedly, Osawa began tidying up the CD rack. She's missing. Go through her stuff. I mean, she's not missing, but she's being chased by a man, and she says, I can't contact my family. So she's like, she's missing, technically. I say you should look for clues in her room. As he worked, he thought about what he was going to say to Makino. To think that someone had violated corporate policy to such unethical ends. It sullied his research. Osawa wasn't about to let anyone get away with it. And yet, as he was about to leave Hitomi's room, a sudden uncertainty gripped him. He hesitated. Did he have any right to condemn Makino for running trials in secret? His hand began to sweat as it gripped the doorknob. No, he didn't. How could he? His hands were dirty in all this, too. We need to keep this a secret just between us. It'll be fine. We've already cleared animal testing. The memories hovered. Osawa himself had already administered the antiviral to someone, hadn't he? A lady with black hair, which is every single person in this game. Except for Chiaki, I think. It was the only way. Who'd he give it to? Muttering to no one in particular, Osawa trudged toward the front door of his house. Did someone get sick? Maria! Did Maria get the disease? They went to the Middle East. They didn't say it was in the Middle East, but that's the only people that have gone anywhere. He took Maria to the Middle East. My theory, she got sick. He gave her the antiviral. And she got kidnapped. Because someone found that out, and they're like the Last of Us in her, and they're kidnapping her to get the antiviral out of her. I don't know. This is getting ridiculous. To be continued.